Joining.
Anyone touch your project.
We see progress.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ridwan Ghasant, Chairman of the Board of Directors of Growthpoint Properties Limited. It gives me great pleasure to welcome everyone present to this 35th Annual General Meeting of Growthpoint's shareholders. I acknowledge the presence of my fellow directors, including Mr. Norbert Sasser, Group CEO, and Andile Sanko, Lead Independent Director. Mr. Sanko will preside over a portion of the meeting. This meeting will be conducted via electronic participation in terms of the provisions of the Companies Act 71 of 2008 as amended, and the company's Memorandum of Incorporation, the MOI. Here with a few pointers on how to navigate the Zoom meeting platform. 1. Shareholders who would like to pose questions, please click on the Q&A icon on the bottom of your screen, followed by your question, and press enter or send. Alternatively, if you would like to address the meeting directly, please click on the raise your hand icon. Once the chairman has identified you, your microphone will be unmuted and you will be able to address the meeting. All questions and comments will be addressed after all the resolutions have been put to the meeting. The results of the poll will be announced before the close of the formal business of the meeting. Please note that the meeting proceedings are being recorded. In terms of the company's MOI, a quorum for an annual general meeting is at least 3 shareholders entitled to attend and vote, present in person or represented either by proxy or letter of representation, holding in aggregate at least 25% of the voting rights. This minimum quorum must be maintained for any matters in the notice to be proposed and dealt with. Such quorum is sufficient for the passing of a special resolution in terms of the Companies Act of 2008, provided that a majority of at least 75% of the total number of votes represented at the meeting must vote in favor of the special resolution for it to pass. Notice of the meeting has been given in the prescribed manner, and a quorum exceeding the minimum requirements is present. On that basis, I declare this annual general meeting duly constituted. The notice of the meeting has been distributed to members. It contains the supporting information, including the summarized, audited annual financial statements for the year ended 30 June 2023. I propose that the notice of this annual general meeting and the supplementary information in the notice be taken as read. Is that agreed?
Yes, Chair. Sure.
You. The company published a pre-close SENS and engaged with shareholders on 22 November 2023. Therefore, questions on the update will not be taken in this meeting and can be posed directly to management via Lauren Turner. Any matters pertaining to the notice of this meeting will be taken and dealt with by management or members of the board as appropriate, after all the resolutions have been put to the meeting. In terms of the company's MOI, I propose that the voting on all resolutions be conducted by way of a poll. It's important to note that this is a shareholders' meeting. Therefore, I remind attendees that only registered holders of Growthpoint shares as at the record date for this meeting or their duly appointed representatives or proxies are entitled to participate in this process. The record date for this meeting was Friday, 17 November 2022. At the end of the meeting, once we have dealt with every item in the notice, I will request you to record your votes on all of the proposed resolutions. Please note that only shareholders who are in possession of a valid proxy, which has been filed in accordance with a notice of meeting, or shareholders who are reflected on the share register, or who are in possession of a written letter of representation, are entitled to speak and vote at this meeting. Any person not so entitled may, however, pose questions after the conclusion of the meeting. To cast your vote electronically, please note the following. 1. All shareholders or their representatives who have requested to vote would have received a link to the voting platform to either their mobile number or email address. Please click on the Vote Now link and it will direct you to the voting platform. 2. You will notice that the voting platform contains all the resolutions which have been published in the notice of meeting, with your votes automatically defaulted to abstain. 3. You may vote on all the resolutions simultaneously by defaulting all your votes as either for or against, or keeping it as an abstained vote, and then clicking on the Submit button at the bottom of the electronic ballot form. You may also indicate your votes individually per resolution by selecting the relevant option, for, against, or abstain, on a resolution by resolution basis. 5. Once you have voted on all the resolutions, scroll down to the bottom of the page and click Submit. A message will pop up on your screen confirming that your votes have been received. Please note, once you click Submit, your votes cannot be retracted and re-voted. As such, please ensure that you have selected the correct option on a resolution, either for or against or abstain. I propose that the Transfer Secretaries, JSE Investor Services Pty Limited, and the Meeting Specialists, or TMS, be appointed as voting scrutineers. Is this agreed?
Sure, yes, agreed.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the process? I take it that there aren't. We shall now proceed with the business of the meeting. Presentation of the 2023 annual financial statements. The company's summarized audited annual financial statements for the year ended 30 June 2023 and the notice of this meeting were distributed to shareholders. Amongst other matters, the integrated report contains coverage on governance, sustainability, and social responsibility. Copies of the comprehensive group annual financial statements are available at this meeting. They have also been available from the end of September on the company's website. May I take the summarized audited 2023 group annual financial statements in the report as read? I propose the group annual financial statements for the 12 months ended 30 June 2023 as presented and approved by the board be accepted. Is that agreed?
Agreed, yes, Chair.
Thank you. The chairman of the audit committee, Mr. Melthaman, is present to answer questions, if any, on the audit committee's activity during the past financial year. We will now display the resolutions one by one. Please be reminded that we will respond to questions at the end of posing all resolutions. Item 1.1, re-election of retiring non-executive directors. It is an ordinary resolution. The memorandum of incorporation of the company requires 1/3 of the non-executive directors to retire by rotation at an AGM. Directors retiring in this manner and any standing for election pursuant to appointment by the board to fill a casual vacancy remain eligible and may hold themselves for election or re-election as directors. I would now like to hand over to the lead independent director, Mr. Andile Sanko, for the presentation of the first resolution.
Thank you, Chair. In accordance with the company's MOI, the following director is to retire at this AGM, but hold himself available for elections as designated. Mr. R. Kasand as independent non-executive director. A brief CV of Mr. Kasand appears on page 34 of the integrated annual report. Will someone propose that Mr. Kasand be re-elected as a director?
First in the room, Professor Kruger.
Thank you. I will now hand back to the chair to continue with the proceedings of this AGM.
Thank you, Mr. Sanko. I now propose for re-election by individual resolutions the following non-executive directors who are to retire at the meeting, but being eligible, offer themselves for re-election. 1.1.2, Mrs. K.P. Labina as independent non-executive director. Resolution 1.1.3, Mr. A.H. Sanko as independent non-executive director. The Governance and Nomination Committee recommends the election, and brief CVs of both Mrs. Labina and Mr. Sanko appear on pages 34 of the integrated annual report. Will someone propose that Mrs. K.P. Labina be re-elected as a director?
I will.
Thank you. Will someone please second the proposal?
Professor Kruger.
Thank you, Professor Kruger. Will someone propose that Mr. A.H. Sanko be re-elected as a director?
I will.
Will someone please second the proposal?
Kruger.
Thank you both. Item 1.2. Election of Audit Committee members, an ordinary resolution. In terms of the Companies Act, shareholders at the annual general meeting each year are required to elect an audit committee for the period until the company's next annual general meeting, save for the board's filling of any vacancy that might arise on the committee within 40 days of any vacancy arising. The board recommends the election of the audit committee members on an individual basis, considering their qualifications and suitability for their roles as such. The audit committee and its members have access to adequate resources, including the internal and external auditors and experienced members of management, all of whom attend audit committee meetings. Will someone please propose that Mr. M. Haman be re-elected as a member of the audit committee?
First.
Thank you. Will someone please second the proposal?
Happy.
Thank you. Will someone propose that Mr. F. M. Barkley be re-elected as a member of the audit committee?
Opposed.
Will someone please second the proposal? Thank you. Will someone propose that Mrs. K.P. Labina be re-elected as a member of the audit committee, subject to the passing of resolution 1.1.2?
First, Prof. Kruger.
Will someone please second the proposal?
Seconded.
Thank you. Will someone propose that Mr. A.H. Sanko be re-elected as a member of the Audit Committee, subject to the passing of Resolution 1.1.3?
Kruger.
Will someone please second the proposal?
Seconded. Gerald.
Thank you. Will someone propose that Mr. C.D. Rapiri be elected as a member of the Audit Committee?
Prof. Kruger.
Will someone please second the proposal?
Seconded.
Thank you. Item 1.3, reappointment of external auditor, an ordinary resolution. In terms of the Companies Act, shareholders at the annual general meeting each year are required to appoint or reappoint an external auditor. Growthpoint's Audit Committee, with the board's support, recommends the reappointment of EY and Ms. J. Fitton as the engagement partner at this meeting and for the period ending at the annual general meeting to be held in 2024. Will someone please propose the reappointment of EY as the company's external auditor for the period until the company's next annual general meeting?
Prof. Kruger.
Will someone please second the proposal? Thank you. Item 1.4, advisory, non-binding approval of remuneration policy and implementation report. Item 1.4.1, non-binding advisory approval of remuneration policy. This is an ordinary resolution requiring 75% approval. Shareholders' approval at the annual general meetings on an advisory, non-binding basis of the company's remuneration policy is a recommendation of the King IV report on corporate governance for South Africa, which was applicable at the time of issue of the notice of this AGM. Will someone please propose the approval on the board's recommendation and on an advisory, non-binding basis of the company's remuneration policy on base salary, benefits, short and long-term incentives and fees as set out on pages 63 to 69 of the integrated report?
Prof. Kruger.
Thank you. Will someone please second the motion? Thank you. Item 1.4.2, implementation of remuneration policy, an ordinary resolution requiring 75% approval. Shareholders' approval at annual general meetings on an advisory, non-binding basis of the implementation of the company's remuneration policy is a recommendation of the King IV report on corporate governance for South Africa, which was applicable at the time of issue of the notice of this AGM. Will someone please propose the approval on the board's recommendation and on an advisory, non-binding basis of the implementation of the company's remuneration policy as set out in the integrated report from page 70?
Kruger.
Thank you. Will someone please second the proposal? Thank you. Item 1.5. General authority to place the unissued shares under the control of the directors, an ordinary resolution. In terms of the company's MOI, shareholders must approve the placement of unissued ordinary shares under the control of the directors. This is to ensure that the company has optimal flexibility in utilizing and managing its capital resources. The authority will be subject to the Companies Act, the listings requirements, and the restrictions imposed by the company's MOI. In line with best practice, the directors have elected to seek renewal of the company's authority to issue ordinary unissued shares. Also, an issue of new shares may not exceed 5% of the total number of shares in issue as at the date of the notice of this meeting. Will someone please propose the ordinary resolution as contained in item 1.5 of the notice of the meeting?
Prof. Kruger,
Will someone please second the proposal?
I will too.
Thank you. Item 1.6. Specific authority to issue ordinary shares in terms of distribution reinvestment alternatives, the DRIP, when afforded to shareholders, an ordinary resolution. Will someone please propose the ordinary resolution by item 1.7 of the notice of the meeting?
Prof. Kruger,
Will someone please second the proposal?
I will too.
Thank you. Item 1.7. General but restricted authority to issue shares for cash. I would like to point out that this authority requires at least 75% of the votes held by shareholders present or represented to be cast in favor of this resolution for it to be carried. This authority will be limited to an issue in any one financial year of not more than 5% of the ordinary shares in issue at the date of the notice of this meeting and will expire at the next AGM if not renewed then. Will someone please propose the ordinary resolution as set out in item 1.7 of the notice of the meeting?
Kruger,
Will someone please second the proposal?
I will.
Thank you. Item 1.8, proposed amendments to the Growthpoint Staff Incentive Scheme deed and rules. It's an ordinary resolution. It is resolved that clause 3.1.1 of the rules applicable to the staff incentive scheme contained in Appendix 1 of the trust deed, which pertains to the number of shares which can be held for purposes of the staff incentive scheme, be and is hereby amended to state that no awards may be made to the extent that after the acceptance thereof, the aggregate number of shares held under the staff incentive scheme exceeds 170 million of the shares in the issued share capital of the company. Following such amendment, clause 3.1.1 of the rules of the trust deed shall read as follows. No awards may be made to the extent that after acceptance thereof, the aggregate number of shares held under the scheme exceeds 170 million of the shares in the issued share capital of the company from time to time and for the time being, or such increased number of shares in the company as may from time to time be approved by the company in general meeting and subject to the provisions of the JSE listings requirements if applicable. 2. Resolve that clause 3.1.2 of the rules applicable to the staff incentive scheme contained in Appendix 1 of the trust deed, which pertains to the number of shares in respect of which any one individual may participate in the staff incentive scheme, be and is hereby amended to state that no individual may participate in the staff incentive scheme with respect to more than 15 million of the total number of shares in issue from time to time and for the time being. Following such amendment, clause 3.1.2 of the rules of the trust deed will read as follows. No individual may participate in the scheme with respect to more than 15 million of the total number of shares in issue from time to time and for the time being. This limit may be exceeded if the committee, with the approval of the board of directors of the company, determines that exceptional circumstances make it desirable that awards should be granted in excess of this limit. Will someone please propose the ordinary resolution as set out in item 1.8 of the notice of the meeting?
Kruger,
Will someone please second the proposal?
I will.
Thank you. Item 1.9, to receive and accept the report of the Social, Ethics and Transformation Committee, an ordinary resolution. The 2023 report of the Social, Ethics and Transformation Committee to shareholders is contained in Annexure 7 from page 70 of the integrated report. May we take this report as read?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. Will someone propose the acceptance of the Social, Ethics and Transformation Committee's 2023 report to shareholders?
Kruger,
Will someone please second the proposal?
I will. Yes, Chair.
Thank you. We will now deal with the special resolutions in the notice. Item 2.1, non-executive directors remuneration. Section 66(9) of the Companies Act requires shareholders at the annual general meeting, each year to approve non-executive directors' fees by special resolution. The board has recommended for approval by shareholders a 5.5% for 2023 increase in non-executive director remuneration for the financial year ended 30 June 2024. The board proposes the non-executive directors' fees for the notice for the financial year ending 30 June 2024. A majority of at least 75% of the total number of votes represented at the meeting must vote in favor of this special resolution in order for it to be carried. However, this special resolution need not be filed with the company's Intellectual and Property Commission, the CIPC. Will someone please propose the special resolution as set out in item 2.1 of the notice?
Kruger,
Will someone please second the motion?
I will.
Thank you. Item 2.2, financial assistance in terms of section 44 of the Companies Act. The reason for and the effect of this special resolution is as follows. In terms of the Companies Act, the board may authorize a company to provide financial assistance within the meaning of section 44(1) and 2 of the Companies Act by way of a loan guarantee, the provision of security or otherwise for the purpose of or in connection with the subscription for any option or any securities issued or to be issued by the company or a related or interrelated company, or for the purchase of any securities of the company or a related or interrelated company, provided that such assistance is approved by way of a special resolution of the shareholders approved within the previous 2 years, and certain requirements set out in the Companies Act are met, including inter alia, that the board is satisfied that immediately after providing the financial assistance, the company would satisfy the solvency and liquidity test. The board seeks such approval from shareholders to provide financial assistance to facilitate Black economic empowerment transactions and enable existing share schemes to be implemented and administered. Although the resolution is drafted to refer to any person as is referred to in section 44 of the Companies Act, Growthpoint does not intend and undertakes not to provide financial assistance in connection with the subscription of any options or securities as contemplated in section 44 of the Companies Act to any person other than a related or interrelated company or corporation, or to a member of a related or interrelated company or corporation without first obtaining a resolution authorizing the financial assistance in respect of a specific transaction. We note that in terms of section 44(3) of the Companies Act, notwithstanding the approval of financial assistance in terms of a special resolution, the board may only authorize financial assistance inter alia if the board is satisfied that the terms under which the financial assistance is proposed to be given are fair and reasonable to the company. A majority of at least 75% of the total number of votes represented at the meeting must vote in favor of this special resolution in order for it to be carried. However, this special resolution need not be filed with the CIPC. Will someone please propose the special resolution as set out in item 2.2 of the notice?
Kruger,
Will someone please second the motion?
de Wet,
Thank you. Item 2.3, financial assistance in terms of section 45 of the Companies Act. The reason for and effect of the special resolution is as follows. To the extent necessary under section 45 of the Companies Act to confirm financial assistance to related or interrelated companies granted during the financial year ended 30 June 2023, and to approve and also to authorize the board to give effect to any financial assistance contemplated in section 45 of the Companies Act as it deems appropriate to implement during the 2-year period ending 28 November 2025. Section 45 of the Companies Act limits the financial assistance which may be provided under a special resolution in terms of section 45 to a director or prescribed officer of the company or of a related or interrelated company, or to a related or interrelated company or corporation, or to a member of a related or interrelated corporation, or to a person related to any such company, corporation, director, prescribed officer, or member. The resolution therefore does not and legally cannot seek approval from shareholders for financial assistance to any person, but only to such persons listed in section 45 of the Companies Act. We note that although the form and purpose of financial assistance is not limited by the Companies Act under section 45, in contrast to section 44, in terms of section 45(3), notwithstanding the approval in terms of a special resolution, the board may only authorize financial assistance inter alia if the board is satisfied that the terms under which the financial assistance is proposed to be given are fair and reasonable to the company. Details of in-force intercompany loans appear in Annexure 5 on page 65 of the AGM notice. A majority of at least 75% of the total number of votes represented at the meeting must vote in favor of this special resolution in order for it to be carried. However, this special resolution need not be filed with the CIPC. Will someone please propose the special resolution as set out in item 2.2 of the notice? Sorry, item 2.3 of the notice.
Happy? Ja, Prof. Kruger,
Thank you. Will someone please second the motion?
de Steer,
Thank you. Item 2.4, general authority for the repurchase of the company's ordinary shares, a special resolution. The reason for and the effect of this special resolution is to permit the company or any of its subsidiaries by way of a general approval to buy back ordinary shares issued by the company as and when suitable opportunities do arise. The resolution proposed in this notice provides for a repurchase of up to a maximum of 10% of the company's issued shares. A majority of at least 75% of the total number of votes represented at the meeting must vote in favor of this special resolution in order for it to be carried. However, this special resolution need not be filed with the CIPC. Will someone please propose the special resolution as contained in item 2.3 of the notice, subject to the limitation undertaken by the company. I think that should read 2.4.
Yeah.
Someone please second the proposal.
I will, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now respond to all questions from shareholders on the ordinary and special resolutions contained in the notice. If you have any questions pertaining to a particular resolution, please pose your question by clicking on the Q&A icon to ask questions, or the raise your hand icon if you would like to address the meeting. Questions will be answered by a member of the board or senior management who may be best suited to answering your questions. Lauren, I hand over to you to manage the Q&A.
Chair, we have no questions in the Q&A screen and no raised hands at this stage.
Okay, thank you very much, Lauren. I would like to remind shareholders voting electronically to please click on the voting link and cast your votes if you have not done so already. If you are registered to vote but have not received your voting link by email or SMS, please inform the moderator via the Q&A mechanism. Are there any shareholders who should still exercise their votes?
Chair, if we could just provide another moment for shareholders to cast their final votes, and thereafter we can proceed to results.
Will do. We will now proceed. May I proceed?
Chair, we can proceed to results.
Thank you. We will now proceed with displaying the results for each resolution which has been tabled at this meeting. Resolution 1.1.1 is passed. Resolution 1.1.2 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.1.3 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.2.1 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.2.2 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.2.3 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.2.4 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.2.5 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.3 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.4.1 is passed. Just waiting for the
It moves to the right, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Moves up.
Ordinary Resolution 1.4.2 for 70.311% against 29.689%. The advisory non-binding approval of the remuneration policy and implementation report has not obtained the required 75% vote, and therefore the company will be engaging dissenting shareholders in due course to ascertain their concerns. Ordinary Resolution 1.5 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.6 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.7 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.8 is passed. Ordinary Resolution 1.9 is passed. Special Resolution 2.1 is passed. Special Resolution 2.2 is passed. Special Resolution 2.3 is passed. And Special Resolution 2.4 is passed. In order to ensure disclosure to all shareholders, the results of this annual general meeting will be announced on SENS as soon as possible. In conclusion, I would like to extend my appreciation to Mrs. Olive Chauke, HR Executive, who resigned from the board on 9 October 2023 after serving 6 years on the board. Mrs. Chauke will be leaving Growthpoint at the end of March 2024, and the board wishes her well with her future endeavors. Since there is no further business to be dealt at this meeting, I declare it closed and thank you for your attendance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chair.
Well done, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.